So what's the future of the workplace? Let's bring in Steve Odland. He's president and CEO of the Conference Board and a CNBC contributor. And Ethan Bernstein is associate professor of business administration at Harvard Business School. Welcome to you both. Ethan, I'll start with you because I know you do a lot of work on office space planning and architecture and best practices and that kind of thing. What are you hearing from employers right now? How are they going to be changing the way that the office looks?
Thank you, Kelly. So, I actually go back to when we published our HBR, the implications of working without an office last July. Boy, that feels like a long time ago. And we knew at that point, this conversation was coming, and it has come. Back then, white-collar office workers were showing that necessity really was the mother of invention. They were sort of figuring it out. We saw satisfaction, conflict, emotion, engagement, all going in the right direction. And since then, honestly, traditional metrics that we've been tracking every 2 weeks have only gotten better. So in some respects, there's this appreciation for remote work amongst many white-collar workers, captured also by larger data sets like my colleague Tsedal Neely in her new book, Remote Work Revolution. And so all of that sort of leaving executives with two questions. The first is, if all of our traditional workplace metrics look so good, then why are we interested in going back, quote unquote, to offices? And if we're not going back, then what are we going forward to? So that's the conversation they're having right now. And it's all tied up in so many of the different ways that we figured out how to make work over the last 15, 16, 17 months.
Steve Odland, there are major societal implications here because if people don't have to live within a decent driving distance of their office, they can basically live anywhere. So we want to also talk about this sort of deflationary trend that's underpinned here. You could move to a lower cost part of the country and save a lot of money that way, improve your standard of living. The idea that employers don't necessarily have to have a furnished, built-out working space for every employee is also deflationary. I mean, it allows them to save a lot of money on real estate and sort of the functions of being in the office.
Yeah, I think both of those things are true. And, it's a question of where this is going to shake out. If we look at the Conference Board survey a year ago, there are only about half of the HR leaders willing to hire remotely. Now it's nearly 90%. And the reason a year ago was that they didn't think that the productivity was going to be there. Now that we've proven it, they know the productivity is there. So, I think what's going to end up happening is you're going to have probably a fourth of the workforce. Now, we're not talking about in-service, restaurants, retail, but, office style service, that can be done in a setting. It'll be about 25% in person, probably 25% remote, and about 50% hybrid, which still allows that ability to live in low-cost areas and be deflationary. The one thing that's not deflationary is wages. We're not seeing wages. We're not seeing people then go and say, well, because I'm hybrid or because I'm remote, I'm willing to earn less. So that part is not coming.
We've seen, Ethan, a few companies where the pay structure is changing, although sometimes that's correlated to them being headquartered in really high cost parts of the country. So it's not necessarily, hey, you're going to take lower for working out of the office. It's, hey, you're going to take lower because we don't have to pay for you to work in San Francisco. So we're going to match that to whatever, the standard. I've seen companies even looking at COLAs across the cost of living averages across the country to figure out exactly what percentage they should offer people relative to maybe the home base. So, okay, we say people are getting more comfortable with it. It's getting more productive, Ethan. But I wonder, is all of this just for a specific cohort of the workforce? When you talk to younger people, older people whose kids are out of the home, they're more inclined to go mix it up with people in the office. That's a bigger draw, that socialization, whereas those who are balancing family life with work life obviously they get plenty of so-called socialization at home.
But do remember, it's a great point, but do remember that we've been doing this, for 15 months in some cases? If you have a turnover rate, that means that percentage of your workforce has never been in an office of yours, period. So socialization for them has nothing to do with physical space. And are they more important, or are the people who've been there more? Who's more adjustable? Which way should we go? There is a degree to which socialization, onboarding, figuring out how we work together, figuring out how we network with each other, we've now got two ways of doing it. Either way is going to be a little bit bumpy. And what I find so fascinating, interesting about Steve's numbers, 50% hybrid, that's the one category of work we don't know how to do. It's going to be a very bumpy ride going forward. And I think there's going to be a lot of experimentation in the process, including, quite frankly, with these questions about compensation and how the global talent market, which we've always talked about, never really had, If we actually have that remotely, it's going to change the way we have to calculate compensation.
It's true, Steve, because we've been talking for decades in this country about outsourcing and all these different things. But you now have a situation where an employer in New Jersey can hire someone in Ohio or Virginia as easily as another New Jerseyan, and the pay structures in those states may be far lower, and therefore allow the company to be more profitable simply because there's no difference in where that employee is. And you wonder if there's actually going to be some kind of regulation. I mean, why not, right? Like if they say, well, wait a minute, that's not fair.
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think companies are struggling with it. It's interesting, though, on this generational question, because our surveys at the Conference Board pre-pandemic said that the people who wanted remote work and were most equipped for it were the millennials. During the pandemic, it turns out that the millennials were climbing the walls in these small apartments, these studio apartments, and wanted to get out. And the baby boomers were sitting in the suburbs saying, hey, I'm fine out here. And so now the surveys say it's flipped. And so the baby boomer generation is more comfortable. And you're seeing the urban flight out, which is why you're seeing some of the inflation, numbers that you were just talking about, driven by cars and everything else. But this is a change. So the question is, are they going to migrate back? Is that going to flip back again? I think it's going to, recede partially, but there is some permanence here, Kelly.
That's so fascinating. Thanks, guys, both of you, for fleshing this out today with us. Steve Odland, Ethan Bernstein.